I feel like that little chime is the herald of, hey, the meeting should start soon. Is everyone good to go? All right, well, I have 6:31, so I'll go ahead and get this meeting of the Board of Zoning and Building Appeals for Thursday, March 17th, 2022, called to order. Ms. Ledbetter, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Barnhart?
Here.
Ms. Bowles? Mr. Davis? Mr. First?
Here.
Pastor Linder?
Here. In case the mic wasn't active, please let the record reflect that Mr. Davis is here.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the election of a chair. Any member can move that any other member be elected for the position. They can also nominate themselves.
Pastor Linder, if I could make a nomination, Mr. First, to be the chair.
We have a nomination. Is there a second?
I'll second.
First and seconded. Ms. Ledbetter, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Barnhart?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. First?
Abstain.
Pastor Linder?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Next item is the election of a vice chair. The same procedure applies.
This is Pastor Linder. I'd like to nominate Ms. Barnhart.
It's Mr. First, I second.
Ms. Barnhart?
Abstain.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. First?
Yes.
Pastor Linder?
Yes.
Thank you. Next item is approval of the minutes for the December 16th, 2021 meeting. Are there any changes, additions, deletions needed to those minutes? Seeing none, those will stand as approved as submitted. Next item is approval of the agenda. I would like to make an addition to other business. I'd like to add one item, I guess that's E1, where we'll discuss the timing of the meeting. Given this is a new board, new year, I just want to make sure that everyone's comfortable meeting at this time, or if they'd rather meet at another time. So I so move.
A second?
Thank you. Seconded by Mr. Davis. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. Barnhart?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. First?
Yes.
Pastor Linder?
Yes.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is swearing in of speakers. Is anyone going to be speaking this evening? All right. If you would please raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you give in front of this board is truthful? If so, say I do. Thank you. You may be seated. Next item is public comment. Is there any public comment this evening? All right. Seeing there's crickets, I'll take that as no. Next item is unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business before the board? None? Next item is new business. Item D1 is application 2022-5040 for 0 National Road Southwest. Ms. Ledbetter?
Yeah, so this application is a request for a variance for the rear yard setback on Lot 4 in the Eastwood development. So the property is located at 0 National Road Southwest in Reynoldsburg, Ohio. Lot 4 includes 11 buildings of multifamily dwelling units on approximately 15.9 acres. The property was annexed into the city in 2021 and was zoned residential medium. The applicant, Wilcox Community, and their representative, which is their attorney, is here, is requesting that the Board of Zoning and Building Appeals approve a residential zoning variance to allow the rear yard setback on Lot 4 to deviate from the required minimum of 30 feet and allow the already approved 25-foot rear yard setback. And so this site plan does have major site plan approval. When we were working with the applicant on their final plat, we were looking over the site plans and realized that they had a 25-foot rear yard setback. That does not meet the current code, nor does it meet the previous code, which the site plan was approved under. And so really, we're just having them get this variance so that they are in compliance and they're not a non-conforming structure before they even start on construction. So staff recommendation, we don't really have any issues with rear yard setback. 25 feet versus 30 is a pretty small change, and we don't really believe this will have any effect on the surrounding property owners.
To kind of reiterate, would it be accurate to say that this was a result of an oversight during the previous approval process?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything applicant would like to add?
My name is Eric Zartman. My law firm, Hunter Hill and Hodge, represents the developer. And I just want to add one thing with respect to the substantiality of the variance. With our eastern and western perimeters on both the applications I'll be presenting tonight, we only have a couple points that are within the 25 foot, but most of the building structures are 30 feet away from the side yard line. So not only is it just to correct an oversight, but it's also minimally invasive on neighboring properties. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have too.
Yeah, sure. So you're relatively far along here in the, site engineering process and everything like that. So it would be pretty injurious to the future of the project if we could not grant a variance. Is that correct?
That's correct. And this variance would be the only manner to correct that oversight as well.
Okay, so it's the minimal ask here to correct that, correct? Is there any other questions from the board? None? Mr. Shook? All right. Well, it does seem to me that, at least in my opinion, I believe that if we did not grant a variance here, it would be significantly detrimental to the outcome of the project. We would certainly be removing the beneficial use of the project by not granting a variance.
I took the time to go out to that site and eyeball it as much as I could, and with the way that it abuts up to farmland on the backside of the property, 5 feet isn't going to have any impact on anyone living within, literally hundreds of yards. And so, unless it's people that are actually homes that would actually be impacted by this variance, and so, yeah, pretty minimal ask.
It does not seem to me either that we'd be granting a special circumstance, conferring any special privileges, is what I meant to say. Certainly, given that this is a result of an administrative oversight, it does seem that there are special circumstances or conditions here which generally don't apply to the rest of the property. That having been said, I do move that we grant this application for a variance.
Second.
Ms. Barnhart?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. First?
Yes.
Pastor Linder?
Yes.
Next item is item 2, application 2022-5040. I guess this is exact same address, but lot 5. Is there any additional information you want to add? Pretty much same thing. All right, well, it seems relatively similar here. Is there anything staff would like to add?
No, the only difference here is really that Lot 5 is 24 buildings of multifamily townhomes. So instead of being apartment buildings, this is just townhomes. And like the applicant previously stated, a lot of the townhomes do meet, but they did do a blanket setback. So we're asking for the whole property like the other one, just to cover all of our bases.
I move that we accept application 2022-5040 as submitted.
Thank you. Do we have a first? Do we have a second?
And a second.
Seconded by Mr. Davis. Would you please call the roll, Ms. Ledbetter?
Ms. Barnhart?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. First?
Yes.
Pastor Linder?
Yes.
Thank you. I believe that concludes our new business. Moving on to E1. So we have had a habit of meeting at 6:30 p.m. Is that the time everyone would like to meet, or would you rather it be 6 o'clock? Would you rather it be some other time? I'll just open up the floor for questions, comments.
I would like to interject here. As somebody who has a 4-month-old, I would very much love it if we could do 6 p.m. if it's all the same to you folks. 6:30 is when my son goes down, so I'd love to not make my wife do that every night. This is meeting, second night meeting this week, and I got out of city council, so sometimes there's 3. So just respectfully, if 6 works for you folks, great. If not, happy to be here whenever you folks can.
I don't want to monopolize the floor, but 6 works just fine for me.
Doesn't matter to me.
Same, I commute locally, so I could literally do 6. I won't say all the other times I could do, but I could definitely be here.
6 is, so I have no problem making it 6 in a bubble. Just my commute is not local. I'm usually coming from Worthington at about 5:30-ish, and so there's that. But in a bubble, or, yeah, in a vacuum, 6, yeah. But if 270 dictates otherwise.
Traffic.
That's okay.
understood.
We have a commute coming from Taylor Road these days, so.
That's a very real thing.
No comment for the record.
Any preference, Mr. Shook? Does that 6 work for you too?
As a father of 2 young kids, I also would appreciate getting home a little earlier.
If it's all the same to everyone else, do we need a motion, or can we just make the change here during discussion?
I think just to be more formal about it, make a motion with a second.
All right. Well, I do move that we change the meeting time, the regular meeting time that is, to 6 p.m. moving forward for the remainder of this year.
I'll second.
First and second, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Barnhart,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. First,
Yes.
Pastor Linder.
Yes.
All right. I believe that concludes our business at 6:43. Meeting is adjourned.
Off the record, Mr. Davis, just text. And we have been known to drag our feet before, so,
Heard that. I appreciate you.
especially if you're on your way, but hopefully it wouldn't create too much hardship for you, because that is unpredictable, right?
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
We have dragged our feet before.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome, and I definitely appreciate you. It shouldn't be, typically, it's not too bad. My son goes to Worthington Christian, and this is right after baseball practice, and so usually it's fine, but if there's an accident right at 23 and 270, the world is no longer fine.
Pretty exotic, I imagine.
Yeah. What you got? Art. The live one. Okay.